Hello everyone, it's SpursBuddy96 here, and welcome to the start of yet another new career mode to the channel. This is the FIFA 19 AS Monaco career mode. Now, I've always been admired of AS Monaco ever since they've went on an incredible Champions League run of, was it 16-17, yeah, when he went to the semi-finals, and also won the French League, or Liga as it's known, by defeating the mighty Paris Saint-Germain to win that particular title. And I think they won the French Cup last season as well, or the season before, whichever, one of those cups either way. I've always wanted to do a Monaco career mode, especially with the players, they had the likes of, Thomas Lemar, Mbappe, Falcao, Tielemans, Bernardo Silva, Mendy, the list goes on, and of course they've all been sold on to other clubs. So I thought, let's bring them all back. Let's bring them all back together and take the fights to the mighty Paris Saint-Germain. And we're going to come on to the objectives here for AS Monaco. And we're going to look at the first youth development, which is a medium, from the board. We'll get there eventually. Yeah, there we go. Youth development for short term is to assign one player to the senior team in the same season they were scouted in, play them in 10 matches, either as part of the starting 11 or coming on as a substitute, and then sign at least 3 players younger than 20 years old with potential greater than the average overall rating of the players currently in the same position. So yeah, and they clearly rely heavily, of course, on youth development with the likes of Mbappe, Lemar, and Benjamin Mendy coming through their ranks. Brand exposure is to sell out at least 85% attendance, or at least 70% of league home games this season. That should be able to do itself if we have a good start to the season. For the finances, I've already started that objective. The long term is to, within 2 seasons, increase the club's worth by a club by 25%. We've got 2 seasons to do that. We're already up to 20%, so that's a good start. For domestic success, we are to win the league Conforama, or basically win the French League, and as well win the French Cup as well. And also we have to reach the UEFA Champions League quarter-finals, and that's going to be a very tough test indeed, considering I think their group contains the likes of Borussia Dortmund. I'm not sure of the other clubs, but yeah, it's a tough group, no doubt. And looking at the budget, 50-50, not much, £30.6 million, and just over £650,000 of wages. So yeah, haven't spent as much. There isn't as much money to spend as I thought. Considering the amount of players spent. But looking at the French league, I've never played a career mode in the French league at all. And there's a lot of cups. There's the first, which is the we'll look at the pre-season cup, where we topped the group in the European pre-season cup, and then we went on to lose, sadly, the semi-finals with a similar score of 2-2, and then lost 4-3 on penalties to the eventual winners Napoli, who beated FC Porto. Then we go on to the French league, Conforama. There are some clubs I know very well. There's obviously the likes of Bordeaux, there's Lille, Montpellier HSC, Nice, of course, at Balotelli, Olympique Lyonnais, Olympique Marseille, of course, Paris Saint-Germain, and Toulouse FC as well. And there's quite a lot of competitions. There's the Tropheé Des Champions, which is basically the curtain raiser for the French league season, or for the French season, domestic season. Then we've got many things. The Coupe de la, the Coupe Nationale, which I think is the basically the French version of the League Cup, as well as the Coupe de la Ligue de France, which is the FA Cup, the French version of the FA Cup. And speaking of the UEFA Champions League, I said earlier on, that is the group for Group A, very tough. We've got Atletico Madrid, of course, their stadium hosts the final of the Champions League, Club Bruges of Belgium, Borussia Dortmund, and AS Monaco. So a very, very tough group indeed. It will be hard to get out of the group, but if we get out of the group, that's a decent achievement, considering the might of Atletico Madrid and Borussia Dortmund show. So yeah, onto the squad for the main team, and look at that. That is, I did say bring the old boys, the band back together, so to speak. We're kicking off with the captain, the striker, of course, the famous Falcao, who of course left Atletico Madrid all those years ago for Monaco. 32 years old. I think I could maybe get 1, maybe 2 more seasons out of him for AS Monaco, but yeah, 85 rated, not bad at all. Behind him will be Bernardo Silva. I brought him back from Manchester City. He can play his preferred position as the right wing, but he can play as a cam or central attacking midfielder. Onto the left, we brought in Thomas Lemar. Of course, he was sold to Atletico Madrid of La Liga. We brought him back, and he will play on the left wing, an 84 rated at the age of 22, not bad at all. Onto the midfield, the heart of the midfield, we've got Fabinho. I brought him back from Liverpool. 85 rated, 24 years old. Yeah, very, very, very strong player indeed. Then we've got Tielemans, who Monaco has somehow managed to keep together. 21-year-old Belgium central midfielder. He can play also as a central defensive midfielder as well. And on the right, of course, we have the famous Kylian Mbappe, who starred in the World Cup for France and made a very extraordinary transfer move to PSG. Was 160 million pounds. One of the top 3 or 4 most expensive players in the world, no doubt. At 87 rated at 18 years old is absolutely phenomenal. Onto the left back, I brought back Benjamin Mendy from Manchester City. 81 rated overall, not bad. Jemison, he is somehow as well. He stayed at Monaco, but he's got an 80 rated overall for a 25-year-old. Gilk as well, 30-year-old Polish international, 84 rated. He's the best rated defender in the side. And then we've got Saidib, I think is how you say his name, French player. He can play in a right back or left back position, but his preferred position is obviously the right back, and 80 rated overall, not too bad at all. And I brought a new goalkeeper as well, Subasic. I let him go, and I brought in Anholz Areola. I brought him from Paris Saint-Germain, as he had less than 12 months on his current contract with PSG, and I brought him for 17 million pounds, I think, something like that. So yeah, very, very good. Onto the secondary team now, or the second team that will play low league opposition as well as cup games and all that stuff. We come onto the striking position, and it's Stefan Jovetic, who of course played for Inter Milan and Manchester City in the past. He will lead the attack, 80 rated overall, not a bad front man at all. Behind him will be an 18-year-old French player, Diop, whoever you say his name. He's 66 rated, but he's 18 rated with great potential. We've also got another great potential here on the left wing or right wing, someone called Grand Sir, which is a quite a cool name. He's on the right, and we've brought World Cup star for the Russian national team, Alexander Golovin. Of course, he moved to Monaco from CSKA Moscow, 79 rated at 22 years old. A potential indeed to surely a potential to do well for Monaco. In the midfield, we've got Ahulu, 24-year-old Ivory Coast international. He can play on the left, on the left-hand side of the midfield, hence why I was left-footed, so I put him on the left foot because I'm like that. And then the right position, we've got Lopez, 22-year-old Portuguese international, who can play on the right as well as the left at 80 rated. Onto the defence, we've got Baracca, 23-year-old Italian left-back. He looks to be, he's a decent player in that position. The centre-backs were a little bit light, but we have put in a 17-year-old French centre-back, Badashil. Then we've got a very good talent here, 21-year-old German right-back known as Hinrichs. He can play as a right-back, left-back and a left winger. He can't play as a centre-back, but he has to play there for now, as I haven't got any more decent centre-backs. And the right back, we've got Tropheé of Malay of 74 rated, and we brought another new goalkeeper, Pryor, from French team Bordeaux of the French league. So yeah, brought 2 new goalkeepers in, Subasic and the other one, I forget his name, but yeah, they were getting on a bit, and it's time to bring in some new fresh talent. Particularly Areola, he's not only 2 ratings behind Subasic and is twice as young as Subasic. And speaking of Subasic, we're coming on to the transfers of the club. He has left to join, surprisingly, Championship side Nottingham Forest for £14.1 million. Then, of course, we brought in Pryor from Bordeaux for £3.2 million for the secondary team. Then, of course, he brought in Anholz Areola for £17.4 million. A young player has gone on loan, Youssef Ed Benacera. He has gone on loan to Spanish team Sevilla. Then Adama Traore has gone on loan has left the club to go to Başakşehir in Turkey for £3.9 million. Jordi Mabola has gone on loan as well. Good talent. He's gone on loan to German side RB Leipzig. And then I've also sold Andre Regi to Lagunas for £1.2 million. I had a feeling that his stats were going to decrease. That's why I got rid of him in the end. He is probably a reliable centre back for sure, but you know, he just wasn't in my plans for the secondary team. So yeah, we're going to come on to our first game of the season, where we'll be doing the inaugural start of the French League season, the Tropheé Des Champions, where we will be playing Paris Saint-Germain. That's going to be one hell of a fixture indeed. So yeah, we're going to start here at one of the generic stadiums of the game, Molten Road. Surprised actually, I thought they would do this season opening game in like a licensed stadium, but it isn't. And there is the Tropheé Des Champions. The first piece of silverware in the career mode is up for grabs between Paris Saint-Germain and AS Monaco. And of course, PSG not kidding around, even though it's only the opening for a trophy that pretty much I'm sure isn't on the players' minds in the build-up to the season. But when the match day comes around, of course they're hungry for that trophy. And Liolo, of course, making his debut against his former club, so hopefully he can do a good performance against Paris Saint-Germain. Maybe keep a clean sheet as well, as I'm sure for this match my eyes and the players' eyes are firmly on that trophy. If we win, it'll be a fantastic start to the season, a real boost of confidence to the players, and certainly, of course, a boost that we can compete toe-to-toe and maybe beat Paris Saint-Germain, not just in this cup game, but maybe when it comes to other cup finals or cup semi-finals, or of course contesting them in the French League when we go head-to-head with them at some point. For Paris Saint-Germain, Gianluigi Buffon is starting between the sticks, his first competitive match for PSG. We've got Thomas Meunier, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, the captain, Kazawai, and then in the midfield we've got Verratti, Dahara and Julian Draxler, and look at those front three. Neymar on the left, Di Maria on the right, and up top between them is Edison Cavani. And for our lot, of course, it's the first team that will be playing, of course, the big games, Champions League and all that, as well as the big cup games between big clubs, as well as top 10 opposition in the French League. So yeah, we're going to come on to the first half highlights here, and we've started in an amazing way, to be honest with you. PSG have given the ball away, and now on to the 3rd minute here, and Falcao has done a lovely through ball towards Mbappe, and he's got support in the midfield, and he's going to pass in towards Silva, and AS Monaco strike first in the Tropheé Des Champions. Bernardo Silva has scored his first goal since returning to AS Monaco, and Monaco lead Paris Saint-Germain in the opening minutes of the Tropheé Des Champions. PSG all over the place at the back, gave the ball away. We managed to dispossess him. Falcao managed to get Mbappe on the charge, on the counter-attack. Mbappe found Silva in space. What good pass to him, and Silva with a good finish. And AS Monaco have got off to the perfect start here. Bernardo Silva has given Monaco the lead inside, 6 minutes. And what a disastrous start for Paris Saint-Germain. 1-0 down already under the new boss Thomas Tuchel. And on to the 15th minute, and PSG are not learning from not learning their lessons. Lemar is on the attack. The defence is everywhere. Marquinhos intercepts, but gives it back to Mendy. Fabinho now it's at the post from I don't know who it was, but it's gone back in off guess who? It is Kylian Mbappe. And PSG are falling apart in the first 20 minutes. Kylian Mbappe scores on his return to AS Monaco and against his former club Paris Saint-Germain, and AS Monaco are 2-0 up in the Tropheé Des Champions final. PSG taken apart with our passing. Good strike, I don't know who that was. That might have been Tielemans or maybe Bernardo Silva, but it came off the post. Buffon couldn't save it, and it was left then on a plate for Kylian Mbappe, who thunders it into the net. It might have been Bernardo Silva actually who had the initial strike, but it doesn't matter. Kylian Mbappe is now on the score sheet, and Monaco comfortably 2-0 up in the first 20 minutes. PSG have not turned up for the first competitive match of the season. PSG 0, AS Monaco 2. We're on to the 32nd minute now, and they still aren't learning their lessons. Giving the ball away, Tielemans in towards Bernardo Silva, and he's run a wonderful ball there, lays it to Falcao, and it's gone in, and the captain has slayed his marker and scores the 3rd for Monaco. Radamel Falcao has surely put daggers in the hearts of the PSG contingent, and that is surely wraps up the Tropheé Des Champions final in the first half for Monaco against PSG. PSG have fallen apart, keep getting dispossessed. Defensively, they're all over the place. I don't know who they're marking. I don't know what their formation is at the back. Maybe they keep changing the system or what. But Monaco are destroying and dominating PSG. And Ramadan Falcao has got his first goal of the season. Great encouragement for him. Always important for the strikers to get on the score sheet. And it's 3-0 at that stage. Now PSG are coming forward here. Draxler leaves it to Neymar. And Neymar's coming forward in towards Cavani. Good effort from Cavani. And Areola makes his first save of the match against his former club. Neymar manages to slide the ball to Cavani under pressure from my players. Cavani with the strike, but Areola makes the save. Very good there from Areola. And there goes the half-time whistle. Wow, what a first half. What a first half to our first competitive game in the AS Monaco career mode. Totally outplayed and destroyed Paris Saint-Germain. Defensively, they've been all over the place, and they've been very, lackluster, giving the ball away constantly, which has been taken very kindly and brutally from my team. It's 3-0 at that stage, and at the end of the second half, AS Monaco are the Tropheé Des Champions winners, and they deservedly should be. Destroyed PSG in the first half. In the second half, there really wasn't much to choose. PSG just sat back and defended, probably fearing they could concede another 3 goals and make it a real embarrassment. But there is AS Monaco going up to the podium to receive the Tropheé Des Champions. And wowee, what a performance. That could be worthy of maybe future champions, not just in this, but of course champions of maybe the French League, the Coupe de Ligue and the Standard League. But Falcao is going to lift the first piece of silverware. Monaco and the Tropheé Des Champions. They have won the Tropheé Des Champions, and AS Monaco celebrates with their supporters, while the PSG fans will look back in horror after a horrific first half display. But is this a sign of things to come? Are Monaco going to be swept aside every week by some of the big guns like Nice, Lyon and Marseille, and of course maybe Monaco as well? Or is it going to be a closer contest when it comes to the French Cups as well as maybe the French League? And there's AS Monaco, the Tropheé Des Champions. Fantastic. Now let's go on to the preview for the next episode, where we'll kick off the Liga Conforama, or the French League, away against FC Nantes. Before then we have an international break, which then we can deal with some transfer negotiations, maybe of other players. Then will be our first home game of the season will be against Lille, before then going away to Bordeaux. A tough test I think Bordeaux will be indeed. So yeah, I just want to say thank you very much for watching. Excuse me if my voice is a bit sore today. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you for episode 2. Like, comment, subscribe and also comment on what players you should think we should bring in to the Monaco side. So yeah, see you next time for episode 2 of the AS Monaco career mode. Take care.